The next issue we'll talk about is that of crosswinds and passing trucks. So in this case, your coach gets pushed around by sudden crosswinds or the bow wake from a passing semi or other vehicle. And we often talk about this issue in conjunction with tail wag, because if you have that side-to-side shift happening in your rear axle, then a lot of times that happens when all that wind force acts on the side of your coach. So now all that force is pushing the body of the coach, the chassis, sideways relative to the axle, and that makes you have to have more of a steering input up front to really counter that movement. So if you can control that side-to-side movement in the axle, say with a rear track bar, then that can really improve your stability in the wind or when passing trucks. So again, here's just our video showing the difference without a track bar on the left and with a track bar on the right of how much movement you can get between the axle and the chassis of a coach. So another issue that we often see leading to more problems in crosswinds and when passing semis or when they're passing you is that of poor weight distribution. So just like we've talked about before, other issues that it can cause, if you are too light on the front axle, then that can make you more susceptible to getting pushed off center. So again, the more weight up front you can have, the better, while still, as long as you can remain within the limits for your tires and your axles. Our general recommendation for a Class A coach is at least 1/3 of the total weight on the front axle and no more than 2/3 on the back axle. And with a Class C, at least 40% would be ideal of front axle versus rear axle. In other words, that would be if you are 10,000 pounds on the rear axle, then you would want to see at least 4,000 on the front axle. A steering control can also help. So a self-centering steering control device such as a Safety Plus, that's going to resist the steering being pushed off center. So it is going to help you continue to point straight down the road and will reduce that push-pull feeling from passing trucks as well. Now, sway is another factor that can affect your stability in crosswinds. What can happen, again, think about that force of the gust of wind hitting the side of your coach. That can do a couple things. One is, like we talked about before, it can shove the chassis of the coach sideways relative to the axle, so that's where the track bar comes in. The other is it can actually push the coach over. It can cause it to lean or sway. And again, looking at our Sprinter example, picture instead of me standing there pushing on the side of this coach, a gust of wind coming and do that. And just think about how that's going to now cause all of that weight to transfer in that direction. Again, now you have to have more of a steering input to counter that and control it. If it's acting more like the version on the right, when it's not getting shoved over anywhere near as far, it is going to be more stable in crosswinds and when passing trucks or getting passed by trucks.